enrolling in essential services like Medicaid and food assistance, supporting food entrepreneurs, hosting a weekly farmers market, and a weekly senior discovery group, all here at this location. In 2018, we had the opportunity to purchase the building we had been housed in for 20 years. And with partnership with Sinair, we were able to build an $11 million capital stack, mostly based on the relationships that Joe Nelson built over 20 years. Yes. I like to say that Allen Place was built on 20 years of social capital building, and this was our culmination of our 20-year focus on health, housing, and food access. And now we have the opportunity to complete the block. We had a 4,000 square foot second story space that was not part of our original Allen Place development, although it did undergo lead and asbestos remediation through a brownfield grant from Eagle. And now we are excited with the support of the Ingham County Housing Trust Fund to turn that space into a housing co-op that is going to be focused on supporting refugee families as well as native-born folks that are looking for affordable housing in a supportive environment. And it's with that that I am excited to introduce my friend, Chairperson Ryan Siebold. Thank you very much.
As Chris said, I'm Chair of the Ingham County Board of Commissioners, Ryan Siebold. Also, I'm a member of the Housing Trust Fund Committee, and I did want to take a minute to welcome everybody here and introduce some of the additional guests we have. I'm joined by my fellow Commissioner, Simar Pawar. We also have a number of Housing Trust Fund members who are here, Roxanne Case, Melissa Reba, and our Controller, Greg Todd. We also have Alan Fox, our Treasurer, Jania Moore from Senator Sarah Anthony's office. Thank you for being here. Former Treasurer Eric Schertzing, as well as Joe Nelson, who helped to spearhead this and has been a long-time supporter and friend. And then finally, I would like to introduce the mayor of our wonderful capital city, Andy Shore.
Just joining us is Councilman Jeffrey Brown, who just walked up. Brian didn't have a chance to even see it, so thank you, Councilman. What an exciting day. We certainly, I want to thank the Housing Trust Fund Committee. You all do so much work. Treasurer Fox, who has jumped in with, I'd say both feet, but like 9 feet, with getting involved and taking over for where Eric Schertzing left off. It's just a great effort at the county, and the city is proud to partner. Our city, county, and state partnerships have just done a tremendous amount for all of Lansing, but you see what's happened here with the Allen neighborhood and the facility here. It's just incredible. It's incredible. So I love seeing this. We love partnering again with the land bank. We love partnering with so many partners to provide more affordable and workforce housing throughout our city. We've been saying from the beginning that we need more housing. We need housing for all incomes, but especially affordable and attainable and workforce housing. You know, we've seen announcements downtown. We've seen capacity here on the east side. We're seeing south side locations. Housing is tremendously important. People want to live in Lansing, but they have to be able to afford it. So being able to provide affordable housing and to provide those things that are needed, whether it's any income, is just incredibly important. So when we look at today, the 4 grant recipients, they are all incredible partners with the city, with the county, recognized by the state, getting funding. Some of them got funding in the budget that was just passed. All of these pieces are pieces to the puzzle, providing new housing and rehabbing existing housing units. We don't want to just take the time to provide new housing, which can take years. We want to rehab existing housing units that we have to make sure that we have quality housing. And I know our staff is very active. The state has given us some new tools with brownfield tax increment financing, and we're going to use all of these tools. I've got Barb Kimmel here from our development office. So we're gonna make sure that we utilize all of the tools in our toolbox. I see Aurelius Christian is here from our Economic Development Corporation. They're helping to make sure that we have new housing. So we're going to continue this fight. But today, it's not just talking about the need. It's talking about how we're providing that need. And I do want to thank the folks standing to my right here. You know, Reshane Lonzo and Lonzo Development doing so much, taking on the west side and the old bar on Pennsylvania. Just incredible work. Both Lonzos. Both Lonzos doing so much work. Dr. Stan Parker, who on the east side, he saw a need years ago and is doing so much work with our youth and with folks of need and helping out with housing and purchasing and assisting. Eugenia Zachs Carney with House Collective, we're extremely excited for your work coming through. And then my friend Michael McKissick, and if you don't know Mikey 23, then you haven't been around. Because everything that they're doing to rehab housing and teach kids how to do it. And I've said it all over the nation, and he knows it. When we say pick up a hammer and not a gun, that is his attitude. That is something that I steal from him and share and give him credit. But just having these folks getting honored and supported by our county as our partners is tremendous. So I want to thank our county commissioners. Thank you. And I want to reintroduce Ryan Siebold, who's going to go through all the projects. Thank you, everybody.
All right, and everybody's going to have to bear with me because I did not have the foresight to increase my font size, so a lot of squinting here. So first of all, I want to talk real quickly about what the Housing Trust Fund is. When Ingham County received its federal American Rescue Plan dollars, we had a number of priorities that we wanted to address first. We wanted to make sure that coming out of the pandemic that our residents were healthy, that they could stay in their homes, and that businesses could stay open. And once we kind of had a handle on meeting those needs and getting those funds out the door, we thought, what can we do with the rest of our ARPA funds in order to transform Ingham County? And one of the ideas that came out of that was creating the Housing Trust Fund. We set aside $9 million in ARPA funding, recognizing that housing was an issue in our county and as a way to address that. And then the Board of Commissioners created the Trust Fund Committee in order to oversee those dollars and make recommendations for the spending of that money. And so that brought us where we are today. One of the grant programs that we started with $2 million looking at housing, redevelopment, and access to affordable housing. The Commission's hunch that housing was an issue was 100% correct. For this grant, we received over 80 viable projects demonstrating very much so that there's a need and a desire out there to make this transformation. So we got to work awarding those projects and getting to work, and we're going to have a number of those projects. We have 4 folks here today representing some of our grant recipients. Collectively, they're going to create a total of 128 new units of affordable housing and rehabilitate 20 existing rental units. And so just very quickly, if you're in the crowd, I'm going to read through the recipients, but if you're in the crowd and I read your name, please raise your hand so that we can just recognize everybody who's here today. As we heard, we have the Allen Neighborhood Center in partnership with the Refugee Development Center and Spartan Housing Cooperative to create the cooperative housing living space. We also have Lonzo Development Group for redevelopment and rehabilitation of the former Parks Furniture Building on West Saginaw to create a new workforce housing and rental units. We have the House Collective for the rehabilitation and reconditioning of rental units in North Pennsylvania. Commonwealth Development Corporation and Equity First Community Development for rehabilitation and reconditioning of the former El Shabazz Academy building to create new rental units for seniors. We also have the Holy Cross New Hope Community Center to create additional shelter units for unhoused individuals. The Lovejoy Special Needs Center for a pre-development of the Ladybug Center at Churchill Gardens, a sustainable living agri community in South Lansing, creating single-family homes for purchase. And then we additionally have the Housing Trust Fund Committee is supporting efforts to expand home ownership as well, and in partnership with the Ingham County Land Bank, awarded a total of $520,000 to the following recipients for new construction and rehabilitation of homeowner-occupied single-family homes. And those include the Eastside Community Action Center, Best Choice Home Improvement, Habitat for Humanity Capital Region, Mikey 23 Foundation, and VMG Construction. So please join me in giving a round of applause to all those folks. And now I'd like to hear from a few of our 2023 Ingham County Housing Trust Fund grant recipients. And first up, please help me welcome Rashane Lonzo.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Rashane Lonzo, and this is my husband, Steve Lonzo, and together we are the founding partners of the Lonzo Development Group, and we will be rehabilitating the Old Parks Furniture Store right in that Saginaw MLK corridor. So this project is a really big deal for us, and we know that it does not happen for every day for people like us, right? So things can be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and that is exactly what this is. To have this kind of impact is going to be life-changing for an entire community. And we understand the importance of building a team that is smarter than us, that are experts in their spaces, and that can support the vision that Steve and I have for this development. And we would like to, first of all, thank God for the ability to have this opportunity. And we know that God continues to connect us to the right people at the right time. And we are thankful for the partners and the team that we have. We would like to thank our state senator, Sarah Anthony, who has always taken the time to educate us on the resources that we should be looking for. We would like to thank our lead consultant, Bruce Johnston, and his team at Revitalize LLC. We would like to thank Ken Jones of Studio Intrigue, because when we decided to purchase that building, the first thing we did was take him and walk through that building to make sure that it was a viable project. We would like to thank Dave and JP at Triterra Environmental Group, Julie O'Brien at Colliers, Mayor Andy Shore in the city of Lansing, Chris Klein and Aurelius at the Lansing Economic Development Corporation, Julian Darden at State Bank, Sean at Capital National, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, Sean Elliott of SC Growth Corp, Tony Henry of Top Notch Construction, and we also have a phenomenal team of friends and staff that kind of keep us grounded, and many of are here today. So Robert, Katriva, Psyche, Desi, Tanya, Renee, Roman, Carmen, Babette, all of our support system is here today, and that's why we continue to do what we do. And to give you a little background on this project, Steve and I purchased the 900 block of West Saginaw last summer 2022. And we decided that this project was going to be impactful. We decided to name this project the Iris by the Lonzo Development Group. And this project symbolizes hope, faith, and courage. In ancient Greek stories, the Greek word iris means rainbow. When we think of rainbows, we know that there is a promise of sunshine on the other side. And that is what the rebirth of this Saginaw corridor is. It is an indication that something beautiful is on the horizon, and we have an opportunity to make sure that this benefits an entire community. The Iris will undergo complete renovation and redesign to produce 10 move-in ready workforce apartments on the second story. This is going to be aimed at decreasing the housing gap for mid-level wage owners, known as the missing middle, as Mayor Shore talked about. The lower level will consist of a new location for DRM International Learning Center, so that we can continue to offer vocational skill trades, and an international cafe that will be partnered with our hospitality program, retail space for small businesses, a community meeting center, and office space. Steve and I together have over 29 years of experience as entrepreneurs and business owners. We've always been community advocates. This project is simply an extension of who we are and reiterates that we are vested in the community that we live, work, and play. Programs and opportunities like the Housing Trust Fund grant help to fill the financial gap to make projects like this possible in the areas that need them the most. We are excited to be a part of this corridor, and we are looking forward to the rebirth of the Saginaw area. At this time, I'll introduce Dr. Stan Parker with the Eastside Community Action Center.
Good morning to everyone, and I'd first like to thank all of those who had any thing to do with us receiving this grant. This grant represents hope for the people in which we serve. I'm not going to go through a long list of thanking everybody individually, but I do want to acknowledge two specific individuals who helped Eastside Community Action Center start our foundation in terms of understanding the need for housing. And her name has already been stated, and I want to start with Joan Nelson, because Joan Nelson was one of the individuals who mentored me to help me understand the need and the necessity for housing on this east side. I also want to thank Barb Kimball, who works with the city, who has confidence in Eastside Community Action Center helping us with our first project. And I want to add one other individual who's probably not here. I don't see him. He's usually tall, but I can't see him, Eric, our former county treasurer, because there he is, okay. He was one of the also individuals who helped us when we started our first project many years ago, allowing us to purchase from the land bank our first rehab project. And so I want you all to know that your confidence in us is not in vain. Since then, we have rehabbed 10 units, and we have recently this year completed our first brand new building. And we want to thank those individuals for having confidence in us. The other thing I want to say about our housing opportunity program, and I mentioned the term that it gives individuals hope. The individuals that we work with come to us, and we work with the families 2 to 3 years, helping them move from renting to home ownership. And during that 2 to 3 years, we help remove the barriers that previously had stopped them from being homeowners. Now, most of our efforts have been concentrated here on the east side in the Powder Wash neighborhood. And I want you to know that our neighborhood association has looked upon the efforts that we have begun, and they are excited about what the future looks like. Many of those residents looked upon the east side, the Powder Wash neighborhood, as a neighborhood that they thought that the city had forgotten about. But because of how the city has come and supported the Eastside Community Action Center, now they have hope and they are excited about the future. I want to again just thank the mayor for his support, for helping us help the residents here in Lansing, and specifically here on the east side. As we look at the future, we have not only hope, but we are encouraged by what the future is going to look like. When we help individuals move into their own home, it begins the foundation for generational wealth. And as a result of that, we have individuals now who used to feel like there was no need to look for the future. But now they have a hope and they are excited about the future. So again, I just want to thank all of those who had anything to do with this. The trust fund, we thank you for allowing us to be part of this exciting new development. I know for the county trust fund, this is a brand new opportunity for you all, and we're excited to be part of that. And so I'm going to now introduce Eugenia Zach Carney from the House of Collectors.
Good morning, everybody. I am Eugenia Zax Carney with the House Collective, and I'd like to also take a moment for some acknowledgments. We are a very young, only 2-year-old nonprofit organization here in Lansing, but with some very deep roots. I'd first like to acknowledge Lior Ron, who's here in the audience, as one of our board members and actually the inspiration and founder of the House Collective, who has deep roots in Lansing, having invested in affordable housing for more than 13 years. So thank you for that, and thank you for the inspiration of this nonprofit. We made our first acquisition just this past April. It's a 20-unit low and moderate income multifamily apartment complex at 724 North Pennsylvania Avenue in Lansing. It is this acquisition that will be our ICHTF project. and we had our work cut out for us from day one. We've been supporting affordable housing options, but this one required renovation unit by unit. We've gotten ourselves to 4 units fully rehabilitated, and now we're going to use the rest of the funds to finish our unit by unit rehabilitation, to help with the common areas, to bring in a laundry room and vending area, to also add a mural like this to our building. And we're really excited that those people in Lansing who are on a waiting list for housing vouchers, there is a 4-to-1 need in Lansing, and those who are particularly below the 60% average median income are our targets for this particular project and projects to come. We could not have done this alone, so I'd like to acknowledge some of our partners. I'm going to start with one who's also here in the audience, Karen Way. She has been a mentor to me, and I look at her last name and it reminds me of the work that I did before I got into real estate, which is she makes a way. She's a way maker, and for me that is the case, and this has been an inspiration for me. Second, I'd like to thank Ingham County Commissioner Ryan Siebel, Treasurer Alan Fox, the rest of the team behind the ICHTF grant process. When we hit that submit button, we had no idea that we would be getting all the way to this point. So we're honored to be a recipient. We'd also like to thank our team at Astera Credit Union, Martin Carter, Laura Blanding, Robert Whitaker, and all of the folks behind the scenes who are providing one-on-one financial counseling, like Dr. Parker said, that gets people from renting to home ownership. They don't just provide the mortgage for the investment of the rental units that they're starting through. They have financed and helped us with a summit, a financial wellness summit for our tenants, with some pretty ambitious goals. We could not take on the pace, the size, the complexity of what we're doing without their help. We have a lot of stakeholders, particularly those who wrote letters for us in support of this grant. We'd like to thank our contractors, vendors, tenants, donors, and the City of Lansing, particularly Mayor Shore, Councilmember Ryan Cost, and all those who keep Lansing ticking and such an attractive place to call home. Finally, we'd also like to congratulate the other recipients in our shared vision to create more affordable housing in Lansing. To share with you, the unit-by-unit transformation for our project goes all the way down to the insulation, ceiling, bringing in environmental advances, and upgrading unit by unit every single appliance to be more energy efficient. And it's our hope that we can achieve this while we are taking care of our tenants on the financial wellness route as well. I'd now like to introduce Mike McKissick with the Mikey 23 Foundation. As Mayor Shore said, if you haven't lived in Lansing very long, you will be meeting this gentleman very soon. He is no stranger to us as well. He was instrumental in a renovation of one of our board members' for-profit, low-income, multi-unit properties on South Cedar, going back, I think, 4 years ago. And it's now my pleasure and honor to introduce Mike McKissick and the Mikey 23 Foundation. Congratulations.
I want to thank everybody for this opportunity. I'd like to thank Andy, Mayor Shore. I know he's got to take off, and he's took off. People don't really realize that he was a supporter for Mikey 23 before he was mayor. So that's how long Mikey, my son, was murdered over 8 years ago. And so that's when we started the Mikey 23 Foundation. So I want to thank Andy Shore for the support through the years. But I also would like to thank Senator Sarah Anthony for believing in our vision, believing in our mission, believing in what we do. We say partnership, right? What does partnership look like? So we have the Lonzos, we have Dr. Stan Park and Eugene. Now we all have a connection. Mikey 23 has been involved with each and every one of those organizations. And so I want to truly thank them for believing in the mission and believing in my son Michael's legacy, because without them, without us, there will be no Mikey 23. And I tell my kids, they got a sign on their shirt, sign on their hats. It says, I am Mikey 23. And what that basically means is that we are a community. So we do things together to be successful together. And with each and every one of these organizations, and I appreciate you for keeping my son's Michael legacy alive, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. One of the things that I want to thank Ingham County Land Bank, Roxanne out in the crowd, there she go right there. I want to thank you personally. Every time I ask Roxanne that we're having a event for Mikey 23, she shows up. She always called me old in the background, constantly, but you know, I'm not really old, Roxanne, so just to let you know. But I want to thank you personally. I want to thank you for believing in our mission. I really appreciate it. One of the houses that we're working on is in each. I'll just let everybody know, all the houses that Mikey 23 worked on, all of them was on the list for being on the demolition list. Every last one of them. So think about this: if you remove a house in the city of Lansing, and once you remove it, there's only a vacant lot there, right? And so you can only get so much property taxes off a vacant lot, right? $30 to $100 a year, right? Versus if you rehab this house, give it to a first-time homeowner or affordable housing, you can get $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 a year in property taxes, right? So it's a win-win for the city. Win-win for the city is because we're teaching kids. We have 3 different programs for the Mikey 23 Foundation. One is a youth program, which I love. That's my baby right there. And then one is an after-school program, and then one is an apprenticeship program, 18 and over. But what we're doing, we're teaching kids, as the mayor would say, you know, because my son was murdered through gun violence, and I'm really an advocate about stopping the violence in our community, that instead of picking up a gun to commit gun violence in our community, pick up a hammer and build up community. So that's what the Mikey 23 vision is all about. And we try to instill that in our kids, because if we can't keep our community safe, no one wants to come and invest in our community. No one wants to live in our community, and no one wants to come to the schools in our community. And so going all the way back, that Mr. Alonzo was the vice principal at Saxon with one of my oldest daughter, which she remembers you very well. She told me to tell you hi, as always. And she's doing very well. She got her master's degree down in Atlanta. She's doing very well. So thank you for giving that support and everything. And so it's, you know, I'm born and raised in this town. I was born before they put 496 in there. You know, I was born when there was that, we call that the village. We call that the village. And what we have now, that everybody's showing up, we got to continue that mission. We got to continue that vision, the village. And I want to thank each and every one of you that even you gave a penny to the Mikey 23 Foundation. You gave any type of support to the Mikey 23 Foundation, because when people see me with this logo on, and you're going to always see me with that, because my son's voice has been taken. So I have to be his voice now. And I'm going to continue to be his voice now. And my vision and his legacy will live on to help this community and to build better and better housing. And hopefully one day, that when I'm dead and gone, this Mikey 23 vision can continue on with the rest of my kids. And I want to appreciate each and every one of you for this support in the Mikey 23 Foundation. And having said that, I want to introduce back again Ryan, Commissioner, to close it off for us. Thank you.
All right, third time's a charm, I promise. This is it. So again, thank you to everybody. I did want to mention that we also had Ingham County Commissioner Miles Johnson join us too. Appreciate his support of everything that's going on. Just to wrap up, we obviously have a lot of inspirational projects that are taking place. It's going to be transformative for the various communities across the city and for Ingham County as a whole. We are very excited to partner with everybody. We also have more announcements coming in the future. The Housing Trust Fund is not done with its work, so look forward to more and better news about affordable housing coming out from the Housing Trust Fund Commission. For anybody who is here today that's interested in learning more about the Housing Trust Fund Commission, I'd invite you to talk to any of our recipients about the experience they had. Talk to me or any of the Housing Trust Fund members who are present today. And with that, I'm going to close and thank everybody for being here.
We can have all recipients and partners come up front for Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Test, 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test.